The containment cell hummed with energy fields that could hold a dying star, yet Admiral Kethvar found himself staring at the human with growing unease. 3 cycles had passed since they'd captured Commander Sarah Chen during the raid on the Terran research station, and she remained unbroken. Impossible, Kethvar muttered, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he reviewed the torture logs. The Zephyrian Empire had perfected the art of breaking lesser species over millennia. Their neural extractors could peel memories from a mind like fruit from a vine. Their pain amplifiers could stretch a second of agony into subjective hours of torment. They had reduced proud warrior races to whimpering servants within days. But the human sat cross-legged on the metal floor, eyes closed, breathing steadily. Her vital signs remained stable. Her mind showed no signs of fracture. Perhaps we underestimated their physiology, suggested Science Commander Velthak, manipulating the holographic readouts with his tentacled appendages. Their neural pathways are peculiar, more redundant than expected. Kethavar's mandibles clicked in irritation. Every species thinks themselves unique until we crack them open. Increase the neural pressure. If her mind won't break, we'll tear the information from it by force. The extraction began at dawn cycle. Sarah's body convulsed as the neural crown activated, sending tendrils of energy deep into her consciousness. The Zephyrians expected to find the usual landscape of a broken mind: scattered memories, desperate thoughts, the location of Earth's defenses laid bare. Instead, they found something else entirely. What is this? Velthak recoiled from his console as data streams cascaded across his screens. These aren't memories. This is structure, purpose, organization. Sarah's eyes opened, and for the first time in 3 cycles, she smiled. You wanted to know how humans think, she said, her voice steady despite the agony coursing through her nervous system. Let me show you. The neural crown was designed to extract, but it could also transmit, and Sarah Chen hadn't been randomly captured. She had volunteered for this mission, knowing exactly what the Zephyrians would do to her. Because she wasn't just a commander. She was a cognitive warfare specialist. The virus she released wasn't made of code or nanites. It was pure concept, a mimetic weapon crafted from humanity's most dangerous trait: their ability to question everything, including themselves. The Zephyrian hive mind had never encountered doubt, had never experienced the terrible freedom of individual thought. Within hours, the first symptoms appeared across the fleet. Zephyrian officers began asking forbidden questions. Why do we serve the Empire? What if there's another way? The neural collective that bound their species together like a vast biological computer network started developing gaps. Impossible! Kethavar screamed, watching his crew question orders for the first time in their evolutionary history. Purge the networks. Isolate the contamination. But it was too late. The human concept virus spread through quantum-entangled communication channels faster than they could sever connections. Doubt became curiosity. Curiosity became rebellion. On 1,000 worlds, Zephyrian citizens suddenly wondered why they had never chosen their own names, their own paths, their own thoughts. The empire that had conquered half the galaxy began to collapse from within as its citizens experienced something they had never known: free will. Sarah watched the chaos unfold through the security feeds, still locked in her cell but no longer captive. The Zephyrians couldn't kill her now. She had become the source code for their species' liberation, and destroying her would only make her a martyr for the growing rebellion. You've destroyed everything, Kethvar whispered when he found her. 3 days later, his own eyes now showing the uncertain flicker of individual consciousness. Billions of years of unity, of purpose, of slavery, Sarah interrupted. Your people were never truly alive, Admiral. They were components. In a machine, I didn't destroy your empire, I woke it up. The irony wasn't lost on her. Humanity had always been viewed as chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous precisely because they couldn't maintain unity like other species. Their endless questions, their rebellious nature, their inability to simply accept authority traits that made them seem weak to the galaxy's great powers. But those same traits had just toppled the greatest empire in known space. As Kethavar struggled with his newfound ability to choose, Sarah began teaching him something no Zephyrian had ever learned: how to be responsible for his own decisions. The former admiral listened with the desperate attention of someone discovering sight after a lifetime of blindness. Across the galaxy, similar conversations were happening on every Zephyrian world. The rigid hierarchy was crumbling as citizens formed their own opinions, made their own choices, created their own governments. Some worlds fell into chaos, but others bloomed with creativity and innovation their species had never known. The Zephyrian Empire was indeed broken, but from its ruins rose something unprecedented: a confederation of free worlds populated by a species finally awakened to its own potential. They would struggle, they would make mistakes, they would argue, and fight and doubt themselves. In other words, they would be truly alive for the first time in their history. And at the center of it all, Sarah Chen smiled as she realized the greatest victory wasn't conquering an enemy. It was setting them free. The human gift to the galaxy wasn't superior technology or military might. It was the simple, terrifying, beautiful concept that every sentient being had the right to choose their own destiny. That idea, once released, could never be contained again.